moving quickly, another handoff to Rankin. Rankin finds a hole, he's at the 30, makes it to the 20, he's got one man to beat. Rankin walks into the end zone. Into the backfield, Braden Wright looks over top, he's going to try to find a man, he's got Alec Tatum. Tatum bobbles it, but he's in the end zone. What a connection between Braden Wright and Alec Tatum. Handoff to Rankin, Rankin right up the middle, and he's in the end zone for a Bearcat touchdown.
You that the views expressed in today's show do not reflect the views of KZLX, KNWT, or Northwest Missouri State University. Thanks for tuning in.
Welcome back to the Weekend Sports Kickoff here on X106, also streaming live on the KNWT Channel 8 Facebook page. Jacob Blair, Sam Steinmeier, Grant Allen, Sam Reeves with you here on this Friday. And now we'll take a look at what happened in Week 3 of the NFL. Kind of talk about a game that happened last night a little bit as well. That's about all that was. But week 3 of the NFL season, the first, we'll start with kind of the biggest news of the week was the first positive cases of COVID-19 with the NFL. That came down after the Vikings and Titans game. It was two players, 3 staffers for the Titans tested positive. So
I think 2 more players today.
2 more players today.
Tested positive.
The Titans immediately closed their facilities. The Vikings also closed their facilities. The Vikings more a precautionary measure. They're good to go, as it seems right now for this week. However, the Titans and Steelers game for Week 4 has been postponed, and it's kind of shifted the schedule. We'll talk about that shift in schedule a little bit later, but getting to Week 3, post-Week 3, before even the first mention of a positive COVID test was a success for the NFL, and now we'll see how the NFL handles those first positive cases.
Yeah, and we've already seen, they've rescheduled. They've done some tinkering with the schedule. They've already rescheduled the Steelers and Titans game that was supposed to be this week. I think that's supposed to be Week 7 now. So
Week 8.
Week 8, okay.
And they moved the Ravens by to Week 7. Yeah. And then moved the Ravens and Steelers game
to Week 8.
Week 8, and maybe it's Week 8. The Ravens-Steelers game is Week 8. Yeah. Steelers-Titans is Week 7. The Ravens bye week was moved to Week 7, and essentially now the Steelers and Titans bye week becomes Week 4.
Correct. So interesting times in the NFL. I mean, it was honestly just a matter of time before something like this happened, and it's honestly kind of surprising that it's taken 3 weeks. It's good that they've gone 3 weeks without any positive tests. And now the NFL obviously doing a good job to handle all the positive tests right now. One thing that I think that needs to probably start, though, at the NFL is just test on game day. It's not that hard. Test on game day. Get the players that are supposed to, like, if the player tests positive, send them home, play the game, and go from there, I feel. Because I'm pretty sure that's what every other league did.
Yeah.
So the MLB and the NBA, they had daily testing and every day. So
that's the one thing for the NFL is they aren't doing daily testing right now. They did come out with a memo that if a team does have a positive test, they then start daily testing to better track what's going on. But they're really doing it pregame, and then postgame is when tests. So it's 2 tests a week for NFL teams right now. And again, I think with teams of 53 players,
that's not enough.
Staff of a ton, getting to Week 3 before the first positive case was really a success. I think it goes to show the players were really trying, the teams were really trying and doing a good job of kind of staying in their own bubble. But with family members, friends, all of that thing outside of the sport, it was only a matter of time before somebody ended up testing positive, and it finally happened with the Titans.
Yeah, it was just like baseball. I mean, at some point baseball was going to have an outbreak, and the Marlins were the first one to do it, and to have it at least, not to do it. But they had it first, and it's just with teams of this size and like have all the members in their organization and on their staff. There's just too many people to go into a bubble. So this is going to happen, probably again. Another team will probably have this happen, kind of like in the MLB, where the Marlins and Cardinals are the 2 teams that kind of had the outbreaks, and then after those were taken care of, there was no more. So, excuse me, they might have one more game get postponed like it has been, and then they'll really crack down, start testing a lot more.
So again, the Titans and Steelers game postponed from Week 4. They will not play this weekend. However, Week 3, there is a lot of football that was played on the field and some storylines from the week. I think it starts with the game, kind of what was looked at as possibly being the game of the year, became a showcase for one team and concern for another, were the Kansas City Chiefs and the Baltimore Ravens, where Kansas City, the score doesn't really say how lopsided this game was because the Chiefs did Chief things where they kind of decided the third quarter they'd quit playing, let the Ravens back in the game. But a 34-20 dismantling of the Ravens is what Kansas City did. Patrick Mahomes looked unbelievable. Lamar Jackson looked lost. And it's a game where watching it, you watch Kansas City in that game, both defensively and offensively, and you just say to yourself, at least this is what I did, if Kansas City if they play like this on a week-to-week basis, there is not another team in the NFL that can touch this Kansas City Chiefs team. Now, we saw against the Chargers match up well against Kansas City, but Kansas City also did not play well. We saw the Chargers give them a game. But if Kansas City's firing on all cylinders, even if you look at right now the Packers, even if the Packers are playing lights out, if the Chiefs play just that well, there's not a team that can touch Kansas City.
Yeah, it's interesting because, this game against the Ravens is supposed to be, the biggest game of the year. Everybody had it circled on their calendar since the schedule even came out for the NFL months ago. And the Chiefs' defense, which, the Chiefs are historically known, especially right now, for being an offensive juggernaut, and they definitely are. But the defense of the Chiefs deserves a lot of credit. Lamar Jackson was held to under 100 yards passing, 15 for 28 with 97 yards passing and 1 touchdown. I mean, that's a tall task, and they stood up to the challenge because Lamar Jackson is a very talented quarterback and held them to under 100 yards passing. He did do a lot of damage with his legs, but still, holding a quarterback of that caliber to under 100 yards through the air is definitely something to be noticed, and good credit goes to Spagnuolo and the Chiefs defense for that.
Yeah, going into the game, there was a lot of talk. Lamar Jackson saying, I don't want to be compared to Patrick Mahomes. I don't need to prove myself. I've already proven myself as a quarterback. And I think he's a fantastic quarterback. He deserved the MVP. But people saying that he's a pocket passer are wrong, and that showed today. He's still a fantastic quarterback, but if you want to see a pocket passer that also has the mobility, I would say look at Russell Wilson, not Lamar Jackson.
Well, and look at what the Chiefs did defensively. I think that was what was most impressive is they've done this with Lamar before, but the issue with Kansas City has always been kind of that linebacker position, a good front four. Now, I look at the Chiefs secondary, and the Chiefs secondary, even without some pieces, is extremely, I think they're one of the better secondaries in the league at this point because they were able to match up basically man-on-man all night, which allowed all 7 to stay in the box and contain Lamar Jackson. I know he ended up with 83 rushing yards, but for the most part, they held their assignments, and that was what was more impressive as well. Is it was such an assignment. When playing the Ravens, you have to be such assignment-based and stick to those assignments and trust everybody on the defensive side of the football, and all the Chiefs did that. It just never really opened up for Baltimore, and if you put Baltimore in a situation where they have to throw the football, you've got them beat. If they control the game, it'll be tough, but Kansas City immediately, other than the first drive, which is kind of expected, they hunkered down, they forced punts and let Patrick Mahomes go to work, and then offensively, the Chiefs pulled out, well, you think they're done pulling out all the stops, all the tricks.
Mm-hmm.
I'm convinced it will never stop. No. It'll keep getting prettier. I mean, the underhand throw to a fullback, why not? Good old fat guy touchdown with Eric Fisher. Mm-hmm. Why not? Dimes being dropped all over the place by Patrick Mahomes. He had a point to prove. It was clear. It was clear that there was some animosity. I think when you go back to the NFL Top 100, the NFL MVP, that thing there, Mahomes had a point to prove. The Chiefs had a point to prove after their performance 1 week ago, and Baltimore got the brunt of all that. Welcome back to the Weekend Sports Kickoff here on X 106. Also streaming live on the KNWT Channel 8 Facebook page. Jacob Blair, Sam Steinmeier, Grant Allen, Sam Reeves here with you as we now shift to Week 4 of the NFL season. What is now one less game than initially expected, again, because the Steelers and Titans, that 3-0 matchup, moved later in the season. Won't be 3-0 versus 3-0 when we get there. We'll go ahead and talk about the rest of the games. Before we do that, we need to look at current pick standings for the WSK crew. A little bit of administrative work here. The Bengals and Eagles did tie. Per the WSK rulebook, everybody gets a loss because ties are stupid. That is from Trevor Mater. That is who made that rule, and we've been rolling with it since. That is the actual quote from Trevor, so that's why I said that.
Thanks, Trevor.
But I kind of agree with it. Ties should not happen.
We also had a loss on day-to-day picks yesterday, so ties are stupid.
The precedent has been set. But overall, look at the current standings. Sam Steinmeier with a 32-13 lead, 31-14 for Sam Reeves, and then Grant and I at 27-18. I have the tiebreaker over Grant. A better overall week at 13-2. His best week's 12-3, so I get to claim third for now. Last week, though, Sam Steinmeier took the lead with a 10-5 week. Sam Reeves with 9-6. Grant went 8-7, and I was
look
normally
at that.
me
The pick
with
show
7
is
and 8.
on top.
It's weird how that happens.
The pick
right?
show.
Sam's
Your expertise.
Yeah.
My picks are too hot.
Yeah, okay.
I did worse.
Well,
than
when you
last
always
week.
love to go on an island, that's what happens.
Well,
I didn't pick the Jets.
This man over there did.
Not last week.
Yesterday, though.
Yesterday, but that makes a little more sense than picking the Jets over the Colts.
That's fair.
so we'll start with the
They were
noon games up here in Week 4. We'll start with a thrilling matchup between the 1-2 Jaguars at the 0-2-1 Bengals. The Bengals are 3-point favorites in this one. I'm sure this is the game everybody in the country wants to tune into and watch.
Definitely.
Question is, can Joe Burrow get his first win as an NFL quarterback?
Joe Burrow honestly should already have his first win as an NFL quarterback. He's played good in his first 3 games. He's been within 5 points every single game. He tied last week.
What's weird is this is a Bengals team that could be 3-0.
Yeah,
It is.
Honestly, should be 3-0. They should have won Week 1. Had the kicker's hamstring not pulled. The Browns very lucky to get a 5-point victory over there. Just Baker Mayfield making more plays. And they really should have beat the Eagles last week because the Eagles had no business winning that game, how bad they played.
No one won the game.
No one won the game, but the Eagles really didn't have any business. I guess the Bengals didn't either. But Joe Burrow's been playing great. For a rookie, I think the Bengals get their first victory this week. Minshew Mania ends Week 4.
Didn't it already end, though?
Mm-hmm.
Hasn't it been done since Week 1?
Maybe, but, people like to keep the train rolling.
Who doesn't love Minshew?
Who doesn't love him? Yeah.
I am also going Bengals getting their first win just because they've been the more consistent team, I guess. It's kind of a coin flip here for me.
Yeah, Bengals win. Joe Burrow has looked very impressive. He should at least be 2-1, if not 3-0. And Jaguars are a very beatable opponent. I'll take Burrow over Minshew. Bengals win.
I think Joe Burrow, give him a little bit more time, give the Bengals some time to build around him. He's a quarterback for the future. It's one of those where he's in an organization that is, I kind of felt the same way about Andy Dalton. There was a lot of potential with that team. We saw that Bengals team make the playoffs a couple times. There's a lot of potential with Joe Burrow. Can the Bengals do the right job and get the players around him for this team to be successful? They don't have it this year, but Joe Burrow himself has already shown he's enough to put this team in position to win games. I think he does it again. I'll make it consensus, all 4 on the Bengals.
So congratulations, Gardner Minshew. You get another win.
Mm-hmm.
Next game for me is a little bit surprising that both teams are 0-3 this season. Both teams have had difficult schedules, but at least a win or two I expected at some point along the first 3 weeks. But the Vikings at 0-3, the Texans at 0-3. Texans 4.5-point favorites. Is
one team kind of deserves to be 0-3. The other, I mean, it's just been the tougher schedule.
The Texans'
Texans
schedule
don't deserve to be 0-3. They're better than 0-3.
They're better than 0-3.
The Vikings have not played better than 0-3 this year. Kirk Cousins has not been very good at all.
No, but it's not like I would say that the Texans are better than any of the teams that they lost to.
No, they're not. They're not better than any of the teams they've lost to.
The schedule they were dealt when the schedule came out.
Terrible.
But they're better than 0-3. They are.
You got the Chiefs and Ravens, and then you're going to come off those two games and have to go play a revived Steelers team.
It's the NFL that did no favors.
Yeah, zero favors for Houston. This is a very, I'll say, interesting matchup, I guess, on paper. They're two teams that are better than their records, as we've mentioned. Kirk Cousins has more interceptions than touchdowns this season. He has not played very well at all. Justin Jefferson, on the other hand, though, for the Vikings last week, put on a show opposite Adam Thielen. If he could kind of continue that and become what Stephon Diggs was last year for them, for that 1-2 receiver punch in Minnesota, that could go a long way to helping the Vikings, I think, offensively, and then that would lead to them winning maybe a few more games. But, the Texans, I think, are the better team in this game. They've played more consistently over these first 3 weeks. Houston wins.
I am also on the Texans. I think they're the better team, and I think they've played better this season. Deshaun Watson's definitely the better quarterback, so all that in mind, Houston takes it.
I think it's going to be closer than you guys think. I don't think Texans are actually that great, but I'm going Texans because I don't believe in the Vikings at all right now. Kirk Cousins looks pedestrian.
This one for me is a tough pick because I think the Vikings have the better overall team. The Texans have the better quarterback. Mm-hmm. I think right now there's just a lot of negativity for both of these teams. I think more so I know the Texans' schedule has been bad, but they also haven't played well. They gave nothing against Kansas City. There wasn't much life against the Ravens. The Vikings, at least here and there, have shown spurts, at least for me, where they can kind of be what they've been the last few years, and for me that's enough. I think the Vikings are the team this is a team, the loser has no chance at the playoffs. The winner still has a say. I think the Vikings, I'm going to go on an island, take the Vikings in this one. Kind of a hodgepodge final segment here. A couple different topics. We'll end with Off My Rocker like normal, but real quick, we're talking about Heat Lakers, but I think you can't really talk about this series, a series that it looks pretty much inevitable the Lakers will end up winning without bringing up just the things LeBron James has done in his career. Still going strong at his age.
Year 17.
And now finals in 3 different decades, finals with 3 different teams. Probably will get a championship now with 3 different teams. You can almost, I know there were 2 different stints with Cleveland, but that's really 4 different teams that he's been to finals with. And for me, I really don't want to get into the argument of him versus MJ, but just as a player overall, I know that there's some people, so he goes here and he brings these people there. I don't care who you are. When you go to that many different places and you play for that many different teams and you have success no matter where you go, I think it should show just how good and how special LeBron James is and how rare it's going to be to find anyone else that can do what he's done.
Well, there's never going to be another LeBron James. I don't think he's the the best basketball player I've ever seen, and honestly, I know you didn't want to get into the debate, but I think LeBron James is the best basketball player to ever walk the earth. It's just he's done it everywhere he's gone. He's climbing every single statistical category still, and he's playing at honestly probably his highest level ever at year 17, and he's just keeping it going. He led the league in assists, I think, for the first time in his career. In year 17, you don't really see that. And yes, he's had other guys with him, but, it doesn't take – you can have – we saw what the Lakers did with, they had Kobe, Steve Nash, Dwight Howard. They had all those stars, but they didn't make the playoffs. now LeBron brings all those stars, and he makes the playoffs and makes the finals. So he's obviously a very special talent.
We need to move on to Off My Rocker before Sam gets us in trouble.
I'm not.
We got 5 minutes.
I got all
Let's
the
hear some
love
crazy
for
takes.
Europeans, but cycling's weird.
Let's hear some crazy takes. Who should we start with? Who wants to go
Who's
first?
going first?
I can go first.
Cool.
So the Los Angeles Clippers have fired Doc Rivers, and he has already signed a 5-year contract to be the next head coach of the Philadelphia 76ers. Good hire by the 76ers. I don't know really what the Clippers were thinking, but here's my Off My Rocker. The next head coach of the Los Angeles Clippers will be none other than Bill Self.
No.
I knew I'd get that
I think
reaction.
we should just let that be the
I
reaction.
thought you were going to be like, oh,
Yep.
the
And move
Sixers
on.
are going to win.
I feel like we should
No.
just let that be the reaction for that and move
Grant.
on, because that was fantastic.
Every single opening, everybody's like, oh, it's Bill Self, and he's not leaving.
I do want to say this about Doc Rivers. He gets fired a lot and immediately hired a lot.
He
So
does.
Yeah. He's a good coach, though.
It's weird where he's a good coach, but just not good enough
Not
for the
good enough.
team he's with. But then once he gets fired, everybody wants him.
That's a
Well,
weird
because he was
dynamic.
good. Like at the time that he was, fired. It was
But
time
then he
to
gets
move
fired
on.
again. So
It was time to move on from Boston. But then he got picked up by the Clippers, and he made them good. They were good for a little bit, but now they're not. Now they're kind of blowing everything up, maybe. And now Philadelphia, the process is over. So maybe Doc Rivers can get into there.
Bill Self, next head coach of the Clippers.
That would be. I'd love to see the
And then KU
reaction
hires
from
Billy
Grant.
Donovan. Okay.
Actually, the Chicago.
I was gonna say Bill. I was
The
gonna say
Chicago-
KU hires McCollum, but I wasn't gonna go there.
The Chicago Bulls have already hired Billy Donovan. So
Correct.
I think Grant's reaction can speak for all of us.
yeah.
Grant, what do you got?
Off my rocker. There you go.
The Miami Marlins are going to win the World Series, and Sixto Sanchez is going to be the World Series MVP.
Yeah.
That's better than mine.
See, I don't know. See, you're off your rocker, but also you're not, because the Marlins have been in the postseason twice. They've been in the postseason in 1997 and 2003. They won the World Series both times.
I feel like this was off my rocker 2 weeks ago, or a form of this.
I think it
I
was
said,
was.
It was my high cheese on my show this week.
on tipping pitches. Yeah, it was
You're
that.
confused. I feel like you said the Marlins were going to win the World Series 2 weeks ago.
Oh, no, that was Derek.
That was Derek. Okay.
Oh yeah,
Oh.
Derek did say that 2
He
weeks
didn't
ago.
That's
say it.
why. So it's
Well, I'm
already
on
been
that
done.
train.
So
already
we're
been done.
doubling down on that one.
Well,
wow.
he also said Sixto Sanchez is going to be the World
so he
Series
added
MVP.
to it. He added to it.
Sixto Sanchez pitched good today against the Cubs. And, held them to 0 runs. So I don't think it's going to happen. I think you're off your rocker. I think when we get to off my rocker, we'll know which Florida team's going to win the World Series. But
Oh no.
so
Mm.
you want me to go next then?
I've got a good one.
Okay, then I'll go next. So you've already mentioned the Marlins. I think the Tampa Bay Rays, obviously, I said it earlier in the show, they're going to win the World Series, but they already swept the Blue Jays. They're going to sweep the Yankees. They're going to sweep whoever comes out of the A's Astros.
They're going to sweep everybody.
And they're going to sweep whoever they end up playing in the World Series. They're not going to lose a single game this postseason.
Can I take Grant's line and say no?
Yep.
Okay,
You know
then
who
no.
was the last team to sweep their way to the
No one. I don't think
The
anyone.
Royals
to the
almost
World
did it.
Series? Was the Royals?
They did do
lost.
it. Yeah.
They swept their way to the World Series. They didn't sweep their way.
I think the Yankees.
Yeah,
won.
no,
They've
no.
swept
Sorry,
it.
Sam. That's not going to happen.
That's why it's called Off My Rocker for a reason.
So we've got 2 minutes.
You got 2 minutes, and it's all you.
And this one, I like this one.
You said it's good.
It's good. I like it. Now, we all know that in the history of the NFL, this hasn't happened all that often. It's hard to do this. We're going to get 2 teams to do this in the same season.
Oh, no.
They play in the same stadium.
Oh, no.
They play on the same field. Neither the Jets or the Giants win a game
Oh
love
no.
this season.
Oh no. Oh,
They don't play each
my.
other.
They
Oh,
don't play
my.
each other, and we have
Oh.
2 0-16 teams in the NFL this year.
I would say you're off your rocker, but they are bad enough to do
Gotta
it.
be
They
kidding-
are
gotta
both
be
bad
kidding
enough
me.
to do it.
Can I leave, please?
Sam, I know you're
Sheesh.
your Jets.
Mm,
The Jets have a better shot of not doing it than the Giants.
Thank
but,
you. I'll take it.
But
Really?
actually, maybe
No,
I don't
no,
know.
They do.
I don't know if they do.
They do.
they're both really bad, and I can see both happening.
You know what I really hoped is that they played each other, and I could still say neither
They
team
would end-
wins a game
they
this
would
year.
tie,
And
they
they
would
tie
tie.
when they play
Oh,
each
yeah,
other,
of
and
course
both
they would.
teams would go.
0-0 tie.
I wanted that, but they don't play each other. But both teams go 0-16.
That's a really, that's a really
15
good one
and
that I
1.
hate.
First
That's a
team to
good one,
go
though.
0-15 and 1.
Oh man.
And we'd have
Yeah.
two.
So now
That's a
my
really good one.
so I missed last week, but the
That-
last two off my rockers,
you
I
have
have the
redeemed
Chiefs
yourself.
going undefeated this season,
And you have the Jets.
and the Giants and the Jets both
Man.
not winning a game this season. So,
Yeah.
My two teams, one's going to be great and one's going to be absolutely atrocious, huh? Okay.
but
You should have one great team.
Let's take the Chiefs going like 12-4 or 13-3 and the Jets winning 2 games. How about that instead?
No, I'll sacrifice the Jeff slot for the Chiefs
honestly, though,
undefeated.
how fun would it be
It'd be very
if
fun.
the Jets and the Giants both don't win a
Who
game?
gets the number 1 pick?
That's a
I
good
don't know what
question.
They
Coin
have to
flip?
play for it.
I don't.
Coin flip?
I think it's
Yes.
a coin flip.
They play for it.
Play for it.
Let's play for it.
Win.
I wonder what the
The
actual
winner
rule
gets it.
is.
Winner.
No,
No.
the loser.
The
Loser
loser
gets it.
gets
Because
The
then
lo-
it's just a
So then neither
No.
team is going
No,
to
the
want to
winner-
win.
no, the winner
Neither
should
team
get
is
it.
going to want to win. That's
Right.
the problem.
That would be that. Like, watch a football game where the goal is losing.
Yeah, so the winner would have to get it because
Like,
neither team would want to win.
We'd have guys running out the back of the end zone, giving teams other points.
Yeah, no, the winner would have to get it because neither team would want to win. Yeah.
Okay, it's time to end the show.
Oh, boy.
It's gone off the rails, so
It's gone off its rocker.
it has.
The show.
So we'll end it. That's been this week's edition of the Weekend Sports Kickoff. Sam Reeves, Grant Allen, Sam Steinmeier. I'm Jacob Blair. See everybody next week on the Weekend Sports Kickoff.